Hello, fourth graders. It's Mrs. Orak. Today I will be teaching you our math lesson, Module 4, Lesson 4, and Grade 4. Yeah, there's a lot of fours going on today. So today we're going to be learning about something similar to what we learned about yesterday. Yesterday's lesson was on perpendicular lines. Today's lesson is going to be on, squeaky chair. Very annoying. So yesterday was perpendicular lines, and today is going to be parallel lines. Okay, so a review. Perpendicular, parallel. Let's go over some vocabulary. For our parallel lines, everyone grab your right arm, grab your left arm. Mine will be opposite of you, and you're going to make them parallel. Remember, parallel, they never, ever, ever, ever touch. They just keep going and going and going. They could go on forever and never touch, like a pair of railroad tracks. Okay, now perpendicular, you take one of your arms and you're going to move it horizontal, the other arm stays vertical. You're going to make a right angle. Right here is that right angle. This is perpendicular, where they intersect or they hit. Okay, parallel and then perpendicular. Then, of course, it can keep going to be intersecting lines. So we have a perpendicular, but when they keep going, intersecting, they become our intersecting lines where they can cross. So they can be 90 degrees, or they can kind of move around like this and go from obtuse to acute angles as you move your arms around. There's your kinesthetic learning for the day. So if you haven't grabbed your problem set yet for lesson 4, I want you to go ahead and grab that. Now that you have found the word, you're going to underline it, parallel. So that's our vocabulary for today, parallel. P-A-R-A-L-L-E-L. There are 3 L's. The way I remember parallel is if you look at these 2 L's next to each other, they are parallel lines. They're line segments that are parallel. They never cross. So that's how I remember parallel. Has 2 L's in the middle, 1 L at the end, but just looking at the 2 L's in the middle, and they will never cross. So they are parallel lines. Now look at these objects. Trace at least 1 pair of lines that appear to be parallel. So look at each object. Each object should have a pair of lines, meaning pair meaning 2 lines that are parallel. Now right here and here in the music notes. Ooh, the piano keys. I see a lot of parallel lines with our black keys and also our white keys. Okay, here we have our brick walls. You can find the parallel lines there. And then yesterday we also did the same piece of paper, right? That piece of paper from yesterday's lesson, and we find a lot of parallel lines there. I'm going to do that with all of the objects you see. One that may be a little bit tricky is when you're looking at this picture right here, and you're going to see there's lots of pairs. Here's a pair of parallel lines. Even over here, that's a pair of parallel lines. Is a little wonky, but these right here are not. No, those are not. Okay, so once you've done that, you can go ahead and keep going on through the problem set. So the question to number 2, how do you know if the 2 lines are parallel? So how do you know? I want you to write in your answer. I know the 2 lines are parallel because the 2 lines never cross. If they were at all one moving this way, so here's parallel, but if this one is slightly going this way, as you keep going and going and going, they're eventually going to hit. So that would make them not parallel, okay? Or what we call if they're intersecting lines. All right, let's move ahead. Let's move ahead to number 3. In the square and triangular grids below, use the given segments use the given segments in each grid to draw a segment that is parallel using a straight edge. Here we go. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your pencil, and yesterday we were doing perpendicular lines. Well, today we are doing parallel. So you have to use something to draw a straight edge with. Now, on my computer, it's hard for me to use a straight edge, right? But what I want you to use is use a ruler. Okay, so I'm actually going to use this on my screen. I'm just going to lightly just make sure that my line is straight after I draw it. Okay, so I'm going to draw my line. You can do that as you write it in your problem set workbook. Oh, that's hard. Okay, and I'm going to check. It looks kind of straight. I checked it with the flat edge to see if it was. You're going to do that with all of your lines. Now we're at number 4. This part I really need you to pay attention to, because it's going to give you some instructions of how to show that these are pairs of parallel lines. Yesterday, We just kept them as they were, but then we used a symbol in the middle to see which pairs were perpendicular. Today, since they're parallel, we're going to show it another symbol, but not the same. Remember, perpendicular has the upside down T, but parallel, the symbol that you use in between the pairs, are two lines to show that they're never going to touch. Now, number 4 says, determine which of the following figures have sides that are parallel by using a straight edge, meaning ruler or something like this, and the right angle template that you created. Now, if you go a few lessons back, you're going to see that there is a template that you can use that has a bunch of angles on it, and you're going to find the right angle template to help you. It says, circle the letter of the shapes that have at least one pair of parallel sides. Mark each pair of parallel sides with arrowheads, and then identify the parallel sides with a statement modeled after each one. Now, when it says statement, this is what the statement means right here. Okay, that's a statement, meaning it's not necessarily a complete sentence, but it's a statement showing what pairs that you found. Then it also mentioned that we need to create arrowheads, these little arrowheads right here. Those are going to show that those two lines are parallel because the arrowheads are going the same direction. So here we have line AB is parallel, or excuse me, line segment, because I have to draw that line above. Line segment AB is parallel to line segment CD, and they have that written for us. Now let's find another pair. And this is a quadrilateral, meaning it's a four-sided shape. Quad means 4. That means that there's only going to be one more pair. And when it's a pair, remember there's 2. All right, here we go. So we have line segment AC is parallel to line segment BD. I need to draw my arrowhead so they're going the same direction as each other. They're not going to go the same direction as this pair because these are these are parallel to one another and these are parallel to one another. So let's write that down right underneath our 4A. AC, line segment AC with the line above is parallel to line segment BD. BD. Okay, so 4A is finished. Bada bing, bada boom, my friends. And so let's go to another one. Now I'm looking for a shape that's going to have some parallel pairs. That's what we call them, what I like to call them. I'm looking. Let's go to H. As I do H, I'm also going to note here on G, there are so many pairs of parallel lines. It's crazy. Here's a pair. Here's a pair. You could fold this across and it's symmetrical. So if you folded this shape right in half, you'd realize that it's the same on the top as the bottom, okay? That's also another clue that, ooh, there's gonna be a lot of parallel lines here. All right, but they have to be right across from each other, right? They can't cross each other. All right, so let's go to H. Now, I'm seeing line segment YX and line segment VW are parallel to one another. I forgot to add my arrowhead, so I want to make sure to do that. Arrowhead, what's up? Ooh, that one is looking not so pretty. We're going to do Y. We're going to go back. And we're going to get my eraser out because that's fun. All right. You're just going to hear my lovely dialogue with myself. So we have YX, line segment YX is parallel to line segment VW, and put that line segment line above, symbol above. Now I am going to just throw this out there and just let you know that these two right here, totally not parallel to one another. Eventually that is just gonna, they're already crossing, squished together. Okay, nope, not working. This right here, if you look right above, there's no other line, so that doesn't work as well. Okay, that does not work. So I can just like put an X through if I don't, or I don't have to do any of the X's, I just don't mark it at all. Okay, all right, so I'm looking here on H and there's only one pair, YX and VW. All right, my cute friends. So what we're going to do is we are going to be on number 5 of our problem set. Number 5, there's a question. I'm going to show you a video where Dwayne is going to explain a different question and it may help you on number 5. So if I were you, I would pay close attention.
So I thought I'd include this question, teachers and parents, because I thought this was kind of tricky. So it says true or false, all shapes with a right angle have sides that are parallel, and explain your thinking. So the idea is, let's either come up with an example where we can find a figure that has a right angle, but no parallel lines. Or maybe every single instance of a figure with a right angle, they always have parallel lines. For example, you might say, well, here's a right angle, and if we complete it, oh, there we go. We have a rectangle, and it looks like we've got a couple of parallel lines. So we're not sure yet. Or we can even do another one here where, okay, we've got another right angle, a couple of right angles, but here. So in this case, we only have one pair of parallel lines because these guys are definitely not parallel. So is this a true statement or a false statement? Because so far, if it has a right angle, it seems like there's going to be some parallel lines as well. But I can think of, and teachers and parents, it'd be really cool if you gave your students plenty of exploration time to really think about this, to see if they can come up with an example of a figure that has a right angle and yet no parallel lines. I'm going to give an answer here. So if you don't want to give the answer away, hit the pause button. But here's one example. Here's my base. Here's my right angle, and I'm going to indicate that as a right angle by drawing a little thingy thing. And then, let's say I'm going to go up and then down like this. So there's a figure. It's a quadrilateral because it's got 4 sides, but there's no parallel lines anywhere, and yet we do indeed have this right angle down here. So, true or false? All shapes with a right angle have sides that are parallel. That answer is false because I found an example of a figure that has a right angle and then and yet does not have any parallel lines. I just came up with another example. It says all shapes, and for some reason I was thinking 4-sided shapes. But what happens if you draw a 3-sided shape with a right angle? Of course, that's a triangle, right? There's a right angle and no parallel lines. So there's another example of it being false. So that ends up being a false statement all the way around.
I hope you enjoyed that video. I realize now that I have really just never turned off my video, which I usually do, so you don't have to see me kind of being silly the whole time. So sorry about that. You're just going to see my face the whole time during your lesson. All right, so in Dwayne's video, he explained that question. Now, it was not the same question as this one. That was from another part of the lesson, but I do want you to answer this question. If you were paying attention to Dwayne's video, you would actually know this answer. And you're thinking, well, the answer's false then because he said false. No, this is a different question. But if you paid attention, he talked about triangles, okay, at the very end. So number 5, true or false? A triangle cannot have sides that are parallel. Explain your thinking. So I challenge you to find me a triangle with any parallel sides. Remember, triangle can only have 3 sides, okay? So I'm gonna try to draw all sorts. I'm gonna draw a right triangle. I'm gonna draw an acute triangle. I'm going to draw an obtuse triangle. And yeah, nothing is parallel. So true or false? A triangle cannot, look carefully, cannot. So the answer is true. Okay, it's true that it cannot have parallel or sides that are parallel. Okay, look at the wording. And the reason is, you need to explain this. You can't just leave it true. You need to explain it. Why? Why is that? Why can a triangle not have parallel sides? Why is it impossible? Okay, so go ahead and answer that on your own. On number 6, I want you to do number 6. And this one is not meant to be tricky, but you're going to explain why line segments AB and CD are parallel, and then explain, but why are line segment EF, which is going up a little bit, and GH are not parallel. Okay, so answer 6 on your own. Now number 7, it says draw a line using your straight edge. Now using your right angle template, which you don't have, but you can go back and get in the couple lessons back. And a straight edge like this to construct a line parallel to the first line you drew. All right, so that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna draw a line, and then draw another line that's parallel to the first line that you drew. Yes. Grammar. Okay, friends, I'm not going to explain anymore what to do on the problem set because you should know what to do. I'm really happy that you have joined me today for the lesson. I am also going to, I'm also going to link the vocabulary video that you watched yesterday, because that, if you remember, that video was on perpendicular lines and parallel lines. So since we learned about parallel lines today, you're going to go and rewatch it again in vocabulary. I told my class yesterday that they need to save the vocabulary page as a bookmark. When you go to the top of the screen and you're on vocabulary, there's the internet search bar. There is a star that you need to click so that way it saves as a bookmark. That is super important that you do that. I will show you what I mean right here, really quick. We'll make this fast. Okay, so if I'm sharing my screen with you, we're going to get over here, and I want you to bookmark it. All you have to do is click the plus button, go to the new tab, type in vocabulary, bada bing, bada boom. Mine automatically is going to go to multiplication division because I go there often. But it's going to save any which way that you want. Okay, so let's say we're at the vocabulary homepage. You should be logged in already because you should have saved your password, or you just click log in and it's going to automatically sign you in. Okay, click on this star to bookmark it. Then you're going to click done to add it to your bookmarks. And when you go to a new tab, you can click on, and mine I have to click this side arrow here because I have so many tabs that are bookmarked, or so many pages that are bookmarked, and I have to click on where it says vocabulary. So you click on the little icon, and if you haven't done this yet, I want you to try it today, okay? All right, here we go. So that will automatically bookmark it for you, easy peasy. Just press on the star, click done, and then you have a bookmark where you can have vocabulary at a moment's notice. All right, I enjoyed my lesson with you today, and I will see you tomorrow. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye.